My God, Magneto, yo, you just suffer.
What the fuck?
What is up, guys? Psycho Anarchy here with the movie review for you, X-Men Apocalypse. This is the third of the X-Men reboot, prequel, sequel shit that's been going on this entire decade. The fourth one directed by Bryan Singer. And let me tell you, the critics are kind of wrong in this regard. Now, let's look at what we are dealing with here. X-Men Apocalypse is coming out in the same month as Civil War. And Civil War, in my personal opinion, is the greatest comic book movie ever made thus far. And it's really going to be hard to compete. And does it stack up? Well, I'll be right off the bat saying this. No, it does not. And this is not a knock on it. It's going to be really, really hard to compete with something like Civil War. It's like trying to compete with The Dark Knight or The Avengers or Days of Future Past as one of the best comic book movies ever made. It's really hard. But there's a lot of good in this movie. For starters, let's start off with the title character, Apocalypse. This guy, Oscar Isaac, he is so menacing. He is just power, exuding with power and all that stuff. It just, the moment you see him, when he returns to the new modern world, like right off the bat, he's instantly like, holy shit, this guy's not to be taken lightly. This guy's a fucking threat. He just kills a bunch of people with just molecule sand shit. It's insane. This guy is a threat, I could tell. And sure, there's some parts where he's not as imposing as I hoped he'd be, but regardless, this guy, multiple occasions I see him, I'm just like, this is truly a man to be feared. He's not a simple mutant. He is a god on so many cases, and I love that. There is one thing, though, that, like, at first bugged me, is that he has power over molecules. I guess you could say that he could have easily killed the X-Men, but I think the reason why he didn't kill the X-Men with his molecule manipulation is, in the comic books, he is the whole basis of survival of the fittest. I guess you could say he didn't kill them right away. Well, first of all, I think he wanted to make them suffer. Secondly, he wants to, I guess you could say he wanted the challenge. He wanted to, test his might of survival of the fittest, yada, yada, yada. But there's also, but still, this guy was so awesome to watch. He was powerful. He was just a god incarnate, and he was just so threatening and menacing. I could just go on. I really loved Apocalypse. I don't care what anybody says. He was a really great villain. But another secondary villain slash antagonist slash tragic character is without a doubt Magneto. And then there's also Professor X. James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender once again continue to breathe new life into characters that were very well established by Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, and they just make these characters so sympathetic, so fascinating and awesome to watch. Professor X using and holding on to the ideals of, bringing peace amongst mutants and humanity. Michael Fassbender, Magneto being the tragic guy. He has suffered. This guy has gone through some shit as Magneto. Nobody could take that away from him. But anyways, onto the new younger cast. Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, Jubilee. Everybody actually has a moment to shine. I really loved Angel and Psylocke and Storm, as well as they all had such cool small moments. And there's actually a Four Horsemen. There's a Metallica song in here called, if you're not a fan of metal, there's a song by Metallica called The Four Horsemen. When you hear it, it's just, like, when I heard that, I was like, that's really, really clever. That's pretty fucking funny. But anyway, regardless, I loved the new cast. They were, especially Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. I mean, she has Game of Thrones on her side to help her acting ability, so I really cannot wait to see more of her. Actually, I can't wait to see more of this new young cast of mutants. Jennifer Lawrence, she was okay. Honestly, she's a little too stale in my opinion, but regardless, she does her part pretty damn well. But, of course, whenever Quicksilver's on screen, it's like, he steals the show, man. He is just so fucking awesome to watch. He has 2 scenes in this movie. Not 1, 2, that are just so awesome. I love this guy. Evan Peters is Quicksilver. Sorry, Aaron Taylor Johnson. I loved you in Age of Ultron, but you were gone too soon. But anyways, I think there are a few flaws in this movie, without a doubt. There's some pacing issues, probably, and there's a lot of moments where you're just like, huh. But in my honest opinion, This movie I actually very much enjoyed. I actually loved this movie. It was very well structured. I really liked a lot of the Easter eggs they had, and it was just, I really don't see what the critics have a problem with this movie. I really don't. But again, it's all a matter of perspective. I like this movie a lot. Not as much as Civil War, but this is still a really, really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly loved just seeing all these different mutants. I think the main problem, though, is that not every mutant had a lot of development or had a lot of time to shine, simply because, well, it's an X-Men movie, and they're cramming, like, at least 15 different mutants. But regardless, I still really enjoyed this film. I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. I don't care what the critics say or anybody else says. I personally really, really enjoyed this movie. I can't wait to see it again, just like I've seen Civil War a bunch of times, just like I saw Batman vs. Superman and Deadpool a bunch of times, because I'm a huge comic book nerd, and I'm always going to have a bit of a bias towards them because, I just love them in general. That doesn't mean I don't recognize flaws and critics when they're right or wrong, but still, this is just me talking here. So guys, this is Psychoculture's Anarchy here, signing off. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good shit. And to all you psychotics out there, you stay crazy, motherfuckers. You stay crazy.